buy the fact that you think a couple of different things, right? Number one, if you don't think they should own it, they're definitely not going to buy it, okay? Your customers will always be a little bit less enthusiastic and a little bit less confident than you are, right? Think about it this way. You know, so when you go, imagine you go to a store, right? Or you go to a restaurant, and you ask the waiter, like, "Hey, Mr. Waiter, you know, what do you think about the chicken? How are the chicken nachos here?" Right? And he goes, "Oh, they're good." Yeah. Right? Okay. Who in here wants to eat those chicken nachos? Yeah, no one. Okay. In fact, that's when, by the way, that's when you like know you're at a bad restaurant as well. Like the waiters don't eat the food there. Okay. And it's like, so it's their job, by the way, to tell you it's good, and they can barely tell you it's good. You know, so let's say you go to the same restaurant, it's the same food, same waiter. You go, "Hey, Mr. Waiter, like, what do you think about the chicken nachos?" He goes, "Oh my gosh, one of the best things on the menu. These things are so good. They covered in sauce, and it's just, don't even just buy. It's so good. You just gotta get it." Okay. Who in here is probably getting those chicken nachos? Yeah, every single person, right? Now they could be awful too, but like the whole point is, it doesn't matter what the product is. What the difference was his what? Yeah, it's enthusiasm and his confidence, right? So last four letters of enthusiasm are IASM. I am sold myself, right? So you know, you got to get really, really enthusiastic on your presentations. You know, there's two ways to sell someone on something. Okay, there's two ways to sell something. Number one, you can buy something that they probably don't want, which is not what we want to do. Okay, or the other thing is you can get them excited about purchasing, right? And they get excited about wanting to buy something. The way you do that is through your enthusiasm. When you get excited, they get excited, okay? So now here's the key, okay? If you're like at a 7 out of a 10 on an enthusiasm scale, right, where's your customer at? Okay, so that's a problem, right? Is your customer's usually going to be a little bit less enthusiastic than you are. So if you're like at a 7 out of 10, your customer's at like a 5, right? So if you're at a 5 out of 10 on an enthusiasm scale, where's your customer at? Yeah, you make a sale like a 3? Yeah. Definitely not. The customer 10, you probably got to be at like 11, 12, okay? Awkward with like how excited you get about this stuff, okay? They're training this weekend, but the person that trained is like was no longer working with the company after that summer. I did not get a good 17 and had no idea what was going on. Okay, you know, that's definitely the case with you all, but I was still really successful that first summer. I don't really know what I was doing. I just, you know, got really, really excited and had fun on the presentations, and people bought when I did that. So get excited, enthusiasm, self. Okay. Easiest way to get excited about the products and get sold on them is tomorrow. We're going to give you a sample kit. It's got like $500 worth of products in it. You don't have to pay anything for it. It's free. It's yours to use. So, you know, use it on your appointments, but also go home and take it, you know, cut up some stuff, practice it, use it. The more you use it, the more you're gonna like feel more confident, enthusiastic. I like cut up or cook like anything in my life when I started working here. So, so you all do cook. You probably don't. Okay. Enthusiasm. Here's the fourth key. Okay. Call the office while you're working with your customers. Okay. Call the office while you're working with your customers. Now, remember, who are the first few people that you're going out to see your first week or two? And people you're cool with. Okay. Is the goal to go out there your first weekend and, you know, make a bunch of money off of mom, dad, and your best friend's parents? No. Okay. Now that might happen as like a byproduct, right, of like being a great customer service rep, but that's definitely not the goal. So let me all ask you this question, right? Are you all okay with making maybe a little bit less money off the commission you might have made off of a sale, right, in order to hook slam a deal? Would you all be okay with that? All right, cool. If that's the case, give the office a call. We'll hook you up with the slamming deal. Now, if you're like, you know, Andrew, you know, they hate Cutco, you know, they don't like this stuff. They want nothing to do with it. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to give the office a call. But realistically going to happen, I don't really run into anyone that doesn't really like this stuff. So if you meet someone like, they like Cutco, they own it if it's free, and the only thing holding them back is the price, give the office a call. You know, price should never be the reason someone does or doesn't get Cutco, guys. I mean, we're in 1 in every 4 homes in America. People in trailer parks own Cutco. People in mansions own Cutco. We make it affordable to just about any family on any budget. So give us a call. We'll help you out. We'll hook your customers up with a slamming deal. Now, whenever you give away free stuff with your appointments, you want to do it because, number one, it helps you sell more, and number two, you're hooking up your family and friends, and they're usually hooking you up too. It's like a mutual transaction. Like, I mean, it's really not much, but you lose a little bit of the commission you made off a sale. But think about this for a second, right? You sell someone a set, right? Let's say you made like $300, right, off the sale. Okay, you made $300 commission off that sale. How long is that commission going to last you? Yeah, some of you are like one night, whatever. Okay. So whatever, it's going to last you for a couple weeks, maybe whatever, a week. Okay. How long is that customer going to own Cutco for?
10 to 12.
No, forever. Okay, it's like they're literally going to own it forever, right? And how often are they probably going to touch it and use it? Every single day, right? And then what can they do when they get old and they're about to they're no longer cooking? Pass it down, and guess how long their kids can have it? For forever, right? Okay, so while you might only be thinking about it in a short term, right? And you might be like, oh yeah, it's commission, whatever, I'm losing that. Maybe you lose a couple bucks and you don't make, instead of $300, you made $295 off the sale. But think about what you're doing for your customer. So who's really winning here? Yeah, the customer, okay, guys? So you want to make sure you hook them up too. And when you do that stuff, you get better long-term business. That's why people come back to you. They hook you up, and they come back for more orders and things like that in the future. So here's the deal. Long story short, you want to do those 4 things. Like if you forget everything else this entire weekend, right, but you follow manual, cut a lot of food, right, have fun, enthusiasm sells, and then call the office while you're working, you will be successful, and you'll have at least some of the averages. Cool. So let's go ahead and dive into this right now. Let's have let's see, Ashley, you're reading. If you want to just keep reading, best place for demos, we can start right there. Cool.
Best place for demos is in the kitchen. Cooking environment, jump nice, handy, no distraction.
Okay, yeah. So you don't want to do demonstrations in someone's office or you just want to go in the kitchen. Any idea why? Yeah, you're number one, it's more comfortable buying environment, and that's where they're actually cooking. You can actually clean up your stuff. You don't want to go to someone's office or a restaurant. I don't even know. You want to do it in the customer's house. Cool. And specifically their kitchen. All right, next one.
Best to show husband and wife together if possible.
Okay, so here's what you need to know. Always the wife. Sometimes the husband and the wife, if you can get them both together for the appointment. Okay. Never the husband by himself, right? Does anyone have any idea why?
Husband stuff for himself.
Yes. Nope. Okay, so usually he's not the target customer, meaning he's not the one that's doing the cooking in the house, okay? Almost every time. Now, however, there are some husbands that do the majority of the cooking, right? Here's why you still want to see the wife. Because the wife is usually the one that makes purchasing decisions when it comes to stuff inside the kitchen. So even if the husband is the one that cooks, he's like, hey, I know what set I want this one, and everything looks good. I just don't know what color to get. I'm gonna have to talk to my wife, okay? And so what's gonna happen is, by the way, if you don't sell on an appointment, what you'll learn is that there's a 99% chance they're not gonna get later on down the road. We call that a kiosk sale. It's kind of has anyone ever been to the Dolphin Mall? Right? When you go to the kiosk and you tell them all, it's oh, okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna come back later. Do you ever come back? No, never. Okay. In fact, you could have every intention of coming back later and purchasing it, but then you run late, you got to leave early, or you end up buying something else, and now that's no longer your priority because you just spent all the money on this that you saw that you liked. So in general, it's always better for someone to get something small that day than a promise for a larger order right around down the road, because at least then they can get their hands wet with it and they'll buy something later on in the future. But so like you said, you always want to see the wife. Number one, she's our target customer, and she usually makes the purchasing decisions when it comes to things for the kitchen. Cool. All right, next one.
Pennies made after 1983 are softer and easier to cut.
Yep, you can cut up all pennies, but if you are a little bit weaker in the hands, then this makes it a little bit easier. It's a softer metal. You can cut up all of them, though. Doesn't really make a difference. Next one.
Customers should do all food cutting and cut rope leather. You cut penny.
Cool. So yeah, you want the customer to do all the cutting. You want them to experience it and feel it while they're doing the presentation. You cut the penny because it's a little more technique based. So foods, we already went over that. Soft foods, veggies, pineapple, small fruits, bread. Okay, stay in control of your blue book. So let me go over this real quick. Okay, so this is a presentation prospectus, meaning it is something you hold up while you are going through and walking through the presentation. So when you are doing it, okay, it's not like a catalog or a cookie dough. It's all right, Ms. Jones, go ahead and flip through and tell me what you like. Okay, it's a presentation. So you walk them through each page as you're going through it. By the way, just to give you guys an idea, okay, here's how I know all of y'all can go out this weekend and be really successful here, right? I haven't even showed you anything, so watch this. before you get into the presentation, what do you probably want to spend a little bit of time doing before you open up the book?
Chit chat.
Yeah, chit chat, build a relationship with them, talk with them, build some rapport. Cool. So now I start the presentation, right? I open up to the very first page, and on this page, okay, and I talk about on the company, okay, on this page. So what else do you think we could probably talk about? Yeah, how long the company's been in business, how much we sell every single year.
Scholarship.
Yeah, what are some things what are some goals and reasons that we're working towards, right? You get some background and credibility on the company. Awesome, cool. After we've done that, what do you guys think we talk about on this page?
Quality of life.
Okay, yeah, we talk about like specifically what do most people have, what are some of the disadvantages of those knives, right? So after we talk about the disadvantages of common knife, right, then we flip over to this page. What do you all think we talk about on this page?
Quality of life.
Okay, yeah, what makes us different, right? What features, benefits do we have? What do you guys think we talk about on this page?
The forever guarantee.
Okay, the forever guarantee and how that works. Cool. And then what do you all think we talk about on this page?
All different types.
Yeah, the different tools that come in their set. On this page, what do you guys think we talk about? Cool. Different set options, which they want. Last page that we go over is what? Go over some comparison pricing, what other stuff is out there, and then we ask them which option they want. That's pretty much the whole presentation. Cool. So you guys, this is the whole presentation. I have taught you literally nothing yet. Okay. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of confidence, but we will dive into this stuff in a little bit more in depth, right? So let's keep going. If customer asks prices during the demo, which they always will, you just go, hey, Miss Jones, I'm very excited. I'm promised when we get to all at the end, right? Always use your cutting board and the sink. Just keep their house clean. The worst thing you could do is give yourself and the company a bad rep by going over there, making a mess, and leaving it all over their house and stuff like that too. So just clean it up, making sure it's nice. If your customer already owns Cutco, okay? Who in here, by the way, already owns Cutco or knows someone that already owns Cutco? Okay. If you don't know someone that already owns Cutco, I promise you do. It's just not normal to go to your friends' houses and check out their knives. But like I said, we're in 1 in 4 homes in all of America. So to give you an idea, for instance, I always tell this story. I remember the first time that I didn't even so Cutco's not really popular back up where I'm from, up north, and I didn't know, I'd never heard of Cutco at all before I came in for an interview. And it turns out a bunch of people in my family owned it. My cousin sold it for a couple years. It was crazy. So I remember the first time my first encounter with Cutco, I went to my grandma's house, and this is my second or third appointment on the job. And I remember going over to my grandma's house. Me and my grandma are close, so I was like, hey grandma, you're gonna get fired up. I'm about to show you these scissors. You just wait. And she's like, oh no, I don't need them. And I was like, I haven't shown you. I'm like, grandma, you don't understand. It's the best scissors in the world. And she's like, no, I already have the best scissors in the world. I'm like, no, grandma, you don't understand. These are really the best scissors in the world. She's like, no, you don't understand. I already got the best. And I'm like, oh, okay, grandma, let's see your scissors. Let me see your scissors, okay? And she's like, all right, cool, I'll show them. She walks into her drawer, pulls out these old rinky-dink scissors, they're all beat up. I'm looking at them, I'm like, all right, this woman's going bad. She's senile, she's getting old, whatever. And I'm looking at them a little bit more closely, and I start turning them over, and I see a little kind of engraving on it, and it literally says Cutco on it, and it's an old logo. It's completely different, and I'm like, wait a second, grandma, these are Cutco. And she's like, yeah, I know, they're the best scissors in the world. And I'm like, I know they're the best scissors in the world because that's what I'm doing. I'm I'm selling Cutco. She's like, oh, you're selling Cutco? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh, we have a whole set over there. And I was like, oh, dang it. I was like, oh, there goes that one. And I was like, I walked over to them. They had almost a different handle material. It's got a different engraving on it. And I'm like, grandma, how long have you owned these? She's like, I don't know. We bought them a couple years after me and your grandpa got married. And I was like, when was that? And she's like, yeah, early 60s. I was like, what? So, this was a couple years ago, but, so she had owned Cutco for 40 to 50 years. And they never had it sharpened, by the way, too. Never had it touched up or anything. I guess they didn't really realize there was a forever guarantee on it. I don't know how, but, so she had never gotten touched up. And she's like, yeah, the best stuff. I love this stuff. I use it every day. And I was like, no way. And I started going through the presentation, got to the end, and my grandma was like, all right, cool, we'll take a set. And I was like, oh, no, you don't have to do that. We can just take your knife. We just send them to the factory. They'll send you back brand new stuff. She said, no, we'll get a set. And I was like, no, grandma, I don't think you understand. You just take your knives and they'll send you back brand new ones. You send them to the factory, it'll come back brand new. She's like, no, I really want. I was like, all right, cool. I'm not gonna argue with you then. Anyway, so long story short, she ended up getting her own self I'll say a bigger set, and then she gave her old set, got a refurbished and touched up, and gave it to one of my aunts. So, but long story short, you'll run into people that already own Cutco. Those people, by the way, always buy more Cutco. Like those are the best customers you can have because like it's like buying a pair of Nikes. Like you don't just buy one and then like never buy anything else again, right? Once they have it, they start getting like a collection. They keep buying more and more. Also, people that own a lot of Cutco always buy it for like they obviously like it a lot, so they usually will buy it as gifts and things like that. You know, they do own like everything we make. Cool. So that's the last few things. Let's go ahead and flip over to page 1. Okay. So throughout this weekend, we're going to be going over something called the 7 steps to a sale. Okay, 7 steps to a sale. And so if you took like a high-level marketing course or, I don't know, something along those lines, you know, at FIU, or really any university, they would teach you something like this, okay? So let me go ahead and walk you all through this, all right? If you want to take this out of your notes, you can write down 7 steps to sale. Okay, 7 steps to a sale. So the first step to a sale, let me ask you guys, what do you think the first step to a sale is?
Getting a customer.
Yeah, so building, we call it building. Okay, building relationship, building trust. So we call it building rapport. Okay, so the first step to a sale is to build rapport. Okay, so that means just like relationship with a customer, trust, etc. Let me see actually. Okay. So the first step to a sale is to build rapport. So that means like build a relationship with a customer or whatnot. So let me give you an idea. Well, first off, why do you guys think that's important?
You can break the awkward barrier.
Yeah, okay. Here, let me let you guys in on a secret, right? People like to buy from people that they like, okay? People that they trust, you feel comfortable with, but mostly just people that they like, right? So, you know, think about like your doctors, like if you ever had a lawyer, your barber, like there's a reason that a lot of people, like a doctor, they'll have a lot of their clientele go to church with them. It's because they're friends with them outside, and that's how they became their customers. Or they were customers, and now they're friends with them. People like to do business with people that they're friends with. That's just generally how most people do business. If you ever get into real estate, I mean, literally everyone's working with the same products. Multiple people can have the same properties. It's all relationships, right? So in general, people like to buy from people that they like. If you go to a store and you're working with a salesperson that you really like, and you're just like, they're super cool and you just enjoy being around them, you might want to buy that product more even if you don't even want it. And then there's other times where you might really want something, like you want the product and the person that's trying to sell it to you is just so like over the top and annoying, like you don't want to deal with them and you don't like them. And like you can be turned off from buying it just because like the person, even though you really like the product that they're selling. So people like to buy from people that they like and do business with. So the better relationship that you have with someone, the more they're going to purchase most times, okay? When I was a sales rep, I was proudly a rapport selling salesperson, meaning, you know, by the time I was done, like talking to them and building up a relationship, they already knew they were going to buy, right? You know, and that was before I even started the presentation. Like I said, I didn't really know much about selling Cutco. I didn't really know any of the techniques or the tricks and things like that, but I just got really excited and built good relationships with my customers, and they, you know, they purchased from me because of that. So where it says at the top, okay, how much time do you guys think you would want to spend building rapport with a customer? Okay, so here's the set. We told you guys to follow the manual, right? I'm going to give you all a couple different things outside of following the manual, a couple of little words we'll put in, stuff like that too. Other than that, you want to follow the manual 100%, but those things I'm going to give you, we call the Metro Miami, which is our office, the Spartan special sauce, okay? And that special sauce is the things that helps our representatives sell like 4 to 5 times more on average. Hey, Rob, can you get that for me whenever you get the chance? You know what I'm talking about when I went to the office and put down, yeah, the water, okay. So couple quick things, okay? So you guys want to, like I said, 10 minutes. I would recommend about 20 minutes, okay? 20 minutes if you can, right? Don't purposely just spend 20 minutes if it starts getting really awkward, you can't. But you want to spend as much time build up a relationship with that customer as possible, okay? Or until they say, all right, so let's go ahead and get started, or like, hey, what'd you show me today, or like, what do you want to, go ahead and get, until they basically tell you to start, okay? Because when they tell you, if I'm like sitting there like this, right, I put a water bottle down right in there, okay? So if I'm like starting like this, so I'm like, hey, Miss Jones, like, hey, how's your day going? All right, great, all right, cool, let me go ahead and get started. Cool, and I like, start doing this. What does that feel like?
Pressure.
Yeah, it's like, hey, okay, cool, all right, awesome, glad you're doing well. Let me sell you now, right? Versus when the customer's like, you finish talking, like, all right, cool, so like, what do you want to show me, or let's start, see your presentation, okay? Or okay, let's get started, right? What does that kind of seem like?
They're like excited.
Yeah, it's like, all right, cool. Let's go shopping. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, cool. Like, show me what you got. Let's check it out. And it's a lot more like welcoming and things like that too. So that's generally speaking, build as much rapport as possible, or until they tell you to go ahead and get started. You can talk about, it says the 6 Ps. People usually talking about 2 things. Okay, what are those 2 things? Adults like talking about their kids and themselves. There you go. Cool. Their kids and themselves. So those are 2 things I usually try to ask the most question about, like asking questions about themselves, their kids, et cetera, things like that. Cool. Next thing is talks about personal story and tying into goals. So let me give you an example of like, if I was a sales rep back when I started, I'm like, all right, Miss Jones, let me tell you a little bit about me. So I just graduated from Suncoast High School. I'm going to Florida State next year. In high school, I was a big wrestler. I was also in the band. And to be honest, I'm just glad to finally get out of high school and move on to like the next chapter of my life. Ms. Jones, do you mind if I share some of my goals with you? Oh, yeah, sweetie, go ahead. All right, awesome. Well, Ms. Jones, I'm working with Cutco because, well, number one, I just kind of needed an extra job. I already had like 2 other jobs. I was trying to make some more money. But, one of the reasons I'm working with Cutco, Ms. Jones, is because it provides me an opportunity to kind of like take the financial burden off like my parents so that I can like, pay for school myself. And also the other reason is I just really want to develop my interpersonal skills, my business skills. So I'm not sure what I want to do when I go to school yet. I'm thinking about going to the film, but this is going to help me regardless of what I want to do long term. I'm really excited about that because I'm learning those skills as I do more and more appointments, Ms. Jones. Now I'm in a huge contest for my first 10 days. It's called my Fast Start contest. And I can also learn something called a President's Club letter, which will really look great on my resume. I also have a chance to win an All-American Scholarship, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So that's kind of what my goal sharing sounded like. Okay. Now, yours is going to be a little bit different, but why do you think it's important to tie your customer into your goals?
So they can relate to you.
Yeah, okay. And when they're tied into your goals and they know what you're excited about, yeah, they want to help you out. Okay. So who's our target market, everybody? Yeah, so soccer moms. Okay, middle-aged married, moms, right? What do most people like in my parents and your parents' generation? What do they think about people in your generation?
They want them to do better.
Okay, yeah, they want to do better, the lazy. What else? Okay, privileged or entitled, right? Don't work hard, right? Not driven. Okay, do you guys think that's true about yourselves? No, okay. Hopefully not. So, when a mom gets a chance to see someone that is working hard, that does have big goals for themselves, that, is working towards something, that is committed to something, like, what do they want to do? Yeah, they say they want to help that person, right? Like, in fact, they're like telling like their son upstairs, like, Jimmy, get down here, like, you should be doing this, like, they're like still sleeping in, okay? So, when you tie into your goals, your customers they get excited about helping you out, right? And whether that's through a sale or recommending you to a bunch of their friends, they're excited about whatever you're excited about too, guys. And that's important because imagine if you go to your customer's house and you're like, oh, I'm just kind of checking this out. Yeah, I want to see how it goes. I'm just started, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. If like you're not even excited about it, why would they get excited about helping you out? You're like, all right, you don't care, so I definitely don't care. Okay. So you got to time into your goals and be excited about, and passionate about whatever you're doing. So let's go ahead and do this. Take like 30 seconds to maybe a minute. You can write it out or you can bullet point it, but just go ahead and fill in like the personal story and then tie in the goals section. We'll move on. I'll give you guys like a minute. Again, you can bullet point it or time in. School, major, hobbies, family, dream job, and whatever is the reason that you're working or what you're excited about. All right, guys, go ahead and wrap it up. You can always come back to it a little bit later. All right. The next line it says, "Hey, Miss Jones, since I just started, I'm going to read from my manual. Is that okay?" What do you guys think your customer's reaction is going to be when you say that? Yeah, not only that, but they're going to also go like, okay, they're like going to be way more relaxed now that you say that. Like, think about it this way: it's like the customer thinks they're about to have like this probably crazy sales presentation. Like they know you, so they're like, "Oh, I feel like obliged" or something like that. So like, "Hey, Miss Jones, can I just read from my manual since I just started?" They're like, "Oh, yeah, sure, you do your thing. So why do I just have to listen to you? Sweet." So it takes the pressure off them. In fact, that guy that I mentioned earlier, Alex Gonzalez, 48 appointments in a row out of training without ever having no sale. I mean, he literally he was like 3 months into the job, and he'd be like, "Miss Jones, I just started. So is it okay if I just read from my manual?" All right, awesome, Miss Jones. So like I said on the phone, you just do that. So I'm going to teach you guys the pages that you want to get the information down because you ask them. You have to ask them confidently. So there are like 2 to 3 pages that you want to get it down. But for everything else, you'll get it down eventually. But you're really just informational. You just got to give them the right information. So you want to make sure you're delivering it across and getting enthusiastic while you go about that. Okay. Let me have Ashley, if you want to finish off, transition to demo, and then I'll have someone else read.
Like I said on the phone, you don't have to get anything. But if you see something you like, you can get it today. Not only would you be getting a great product, you'll be helping me out too. Cutco is awesome. You can buy sets or pieces, and we have tons of accessories and gifts. We also have interest-free monthly investment options, so you don't have to pay for it all at once. Just so I know, do you cook because you have to, like to, or love to? Great, you're going to love Cutco.
Okay, cool, awesome. Hold off on that. So go ahead and star that line right there. Have to, like to, or love to. You cook because you have to, like to, or love to. Why do you all think that's an important question to ask, by the way? Yeah.
Because it can shape the way you're going to try and sell the product.
Right.
If you think of like having a knife as just something functional and you need to cook just to get through the day, then you need to pitch it differently than somebody who's like, "Oh, I love cooking. I cook 7 hours."
Yeah, exactly. So if they it helps you cater the presentation towards the customer. So if like, all right, this person just needs something to get in and out of the kitchen, or this person like, hey, they could buy the whole book because they like love cooking, whatever our case is. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we continue on. But you're like, hey, someone loves to cook. It's like, great, Cutco's the bomb. You're gonna love cooking. And it's like, I hate cooking. It's like, great. By the way, if someone hates cooking, why do they like Cutco? Yeah, because they by the way, number one, you know what the reason they probably hate cooking? It's because it's just a pain, everything they do, because they probably have terrible stuff, right? And what happens when they get Cutco is now that like it's gonna happen a lot faster. They can get in and out of the kitchen, spend less time doing what they hate, right? What'd you say? Cool. There you go. Cut time and a half. There you go. Okay. All right, go ahead and flip over to page 2. So, right, we're moving on here a little bit. So let's say, okay, we move on to the second page. Now, on the second page, we talk about how long we've been in business, how much we sell every year, some things like that. When we share facts and statistics like that, it helps us establish what? Trust and credibility. That's it right there, okay? So the second step to a sale, everyone, this is what I put at the top of page 2, is to establish credibility. Okay, so we build up a relationship with our customer, and then we establish credibility. I know my handwriting is terrible, and so is this marker, but establish credibility is what you want to write at the top of page 2. Okay, and then I will have Anthony, if you want to take the top of page 2 whenever you're ready. Cool.
Before we begin, we're going to need your favorite serrated edge knife, straight edge knife, and a steak knife. We'll also need a shiny penny as well as food to cut up and snack on. Today I'll tell you why Cutco is the top-selling American-made brand in the U.S. Then we'll take a look at our product line and then review prices and specials at the end.
Miss Jones. See, I said like just like Miss Jones or whatever their customer's name is.
I only work through referrals, so I hope you like me and Cutco enough to tell some friends about me.
Cool, awesome. Continue along.
Let me tell you a little bit about the company. Since 1949, all Cutco knives have been made in the United States in our factory in Olean, New York. Okay, everyone say Olean. Okay, so it's Olean. Olean is it's like a small little city in the middle of upstate New York. It's basically in the middle of nowhere.
It's like an hour out from Buffalo or whatnot. We go there every single year, and when we go take a trip to Niagara Falls with the company. So the whole entire city, the economy is basically relying upon that factory. Like if Cutco ever like went out of business, that whole entire like city, like there'd probably be no one living in that city within about 10 years. So the cool thing is, just so you guys know, the company takes a really good job in care of their customers and sales reps. They also do a really good job taking care of their factory workers. So number one, there's not really much factory jobs in America today. The average tenure for someone that is working in the factory, okay, is 17 years. So if you know anything about like tenure and turnover rate at most companies, like that is a ridiculous number, let alone for like a factory job. So they've never laid off anyone, due to economic times or anything else like that. Every time they get new machinery in the office and in the plant, they always find, if someone's job is replaced, they find another place for them within the factory. So it's just kind of fun facts, but they do take a really good job and care of their people, which is cool. Let's go ahead and go over to the next line, Anthony.
We sell over 200 million worth of Cutco annually and have over 16 million customers.
Okay, go ahead and cross out 200 and write 250. And then you can cross out 16 and write 18 million. Okay, what I write next to that is like you can write 1 and 4. So we're in 1 in every 4 homes in America. Cool. And then you guys can continue along.
And you may have seen us on TV on shows like Modern Marvels and Made in America.
Okay. So here's some other shows we've been on: Dr. Phil, Rachel Ray, How It's Made. This is the same stuff they use in the White House. It's the same stuff they gave when Reagan was president. He gave it to like whoever was in charge of Russia at the time as a gift to show like the quality of American craftsmanship. So I don't know. This is a random fun facts that you guys can know. Here's the next line, guys. It says it's one of the only products that you can buy once, use every day, and never have to replace. Go ahead and star that line for me. Buy once, use every day, and never have to replace. So I want you guys to think about this for a second, right? Think about something that you own in your household or your parents own in your house, okay, that you will have had for at least 15 years. You guys use it every single day, and you've never had to spend any extra money on it or replace it or do any maintenance at all. Anyone got anything?
Toilet.
You got a 15-year-old toilet?
No. Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah. Any other ideas?
The pool.
Okay, there's not much, by the way. Okay, guys. Now there are some things out there. I hear people say things like paintings. I'm like, yeah, well, you look at it every day, but you're not really touching it, moving it. Okay. Antiques, but part of the reason that they're antiques is they're probably not being touched every single day and manhandled. They're probably like being in a corner and like no one's allowed to touch it because it's an antique. So there are definitely things out there, to get like really nice furniture, like a really nice chandelier or something. Okay, guys. But for the most part, I mean, there's not much, right? And so think about this. Cutco's, if someone buys Cutco, right, how many times do they have to make a purchase? Yeah. How often are they going to use it? Yeah. How often? You guys don't even cook. How often do you touch a knife? Probably almost every day, right? And do they ever have to spend any money on it or replace it or do anything with it in the future? No. Okay. So it's kind of cool. Hopefully some light bulbs are going off there. It's one fun fact. All right. Let's move on to the next line, Anthony.
Cutco is a proud producer of many Ka-bar knives.
Yep. So everyone say K-bar.
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 Used by both military and law enforcement agents.
So K-bar knives, I got one in the back. I'll show you guys in a little bit. Okay, K-bar is basically military brand knives. So Cutco manufactures a good portion of the amount of the knives they use in the military. So if you know anyone that's like serving the forces in any of the branches, they will all know what K-bar is. So Cutco's plant is used to manufacture a lot of the knives they use in the military. You can actually sell those. So like husbands and like dads, usually specifically, always get pretty fired up about that stuff. So you guys can show those too. Cool. Next one.
Cutco is involved with many local and national charities.
Okay, specifically, here's the ones that we're involved with. Nationally, one of the biggest ones is Make-A-Wish Foundation. The local charity that we team up with is Angel Wings International. Angel Wings International is a Haiti relief fund. So it was started by a guy named Andy Gianti. Andy Gianti is actually our CSP in Miami. He's about $3.5 million in career sales, personally, by the way, not business, not office sales, like just doing appointments like you all will be doing this weekend. He sold over $3.5 million. This is his part-time job, by the way. Okay, so his full-time job is Angel Wings International, and he has a lot of like the relief projects over there. So they just started a fund after that. They built a shelter for people after the earthquake. So we work with them. We do some fundraisers and drives sometimes. So that's just one you can know about as well. Okay, and then he says to start off, I'd like to show you 2 products that demonstrate the quality of Cutco. Okay, so what we show them is let me see if I have one of these. Yeah. All right, let me show you guys the first product. So the first product we're going to show them is the Super Shears. Okay. Did anyone see these in the interview? You guys got a chance to see this? Okay, cool. Wait, who in here has a penny? Does anyone got a penny? Let's see who's got one. Okay. So these are Super Shears. Okay, they got high carbon stainless steel for strength. They have thermal resin handles for comfort. They come right apart for easy cleaning. Okay, they're dishwasher safe as well. You can let's see real quickly. Okay, so you can cut out pennies. By the way, who in here is anyone here left-handed? Right. Okay, wow, a lot of left-handed people. Okay. How frustrating is it usually when you try to use scissors? Yeah, it's terrible. Okay. Who in here is left-handed again? Raise your hand. All right. What is in your hand? Tell me how that feels. Yeah, it feels like you can actually use them, right? Okay, and it's not like super weird, right? So they're fit for both left-handed and right-handed people. Okay. Yeah, you can use them in the kitchen. You can use them outside. They're pretty strong. I'll show you guys this penny. What did I do? Just like cut it in half or something?
Yeah.
All right. You guys want to see? I'll make I'll do a flower. Ready? Cool. And we'll put the edges on it real quickly. Cool. And boom, it's a penny flower. Cool. You guys can pass that around if you want. All right, who in here thinks customers might be a little bit impressed when you show them that? Okay, and then it will pretty much, okay, always cut straight as well. Okay, it's never gonna bend. These scissors, by the way, I don't know if these are the ones, but I have scissors in my office that have cut approximately 2,000 plus pennies, and they're still cutting super straight. It's got beveled edges so it can grab anything. Okay, these are Super Shears. Then we have products like our veggie peeler. I don't even get this out. Okay, I don't know why. But like moms literally lose their minds when you show them stuff, okay? So you show them a veggie peeler. Our veggie peeler, it's got like beveled edges, takes ultra thin slices, okay? It goes in both directions. So it might not sound like a big deal, but apparently it is. And you can go up and down, like you can peel something super fast. It takes ultra thin slices, so like you don't like peel a carrot and like all the meat's on it's gone. You can also actually use it for things other than carrots. Like you could peel a mango or papaya and it will actually work. It doesn't just like take halfway like in a chunk every single time as you like try to peel it. You just peel around the edges real quickly. The whole thing's already peeled. You can pop it off, take the top out to take the eyes out of a potato. You know, that's our veggie peeler, okay? Here's some other products too that I'll show you just super quickly before we get started. Let me show you this guy, okay? So we also have something called a cheese knife, okay? And customers go wild over this, okay? This is our cheese knife. It's got holes in it, so we call this Jesus' favorite knife because it's holy. Okay, all right. Anyways, so the way it works is, anyone ever like cut a block of cheese before? Okay, you guys know what happens. Like, what happens every time you try to? Yeah, it gets like stuck halfway through. Okay, so the holes are there to separate the cheese from sticking together, so it like glides right through basically whatever you're cutting. I mean, any type of cheese, any hard block, it's like cutting through butter. I micro doubled the edge, which I'll explain what that means earlier. So it's one of the sharpest knives that we make. You can use it on any compressed food. So think about like a pear, think about an apple, like anything that kind of like sticks to the blade as you're going through it. And that's a cheese knife. Okay. We also have like something like an ice cream scoop. Okay. By the way, how many homes in America own a pair of scissors? Every single home. Okay. Let me tell you guys about our ice cream scooper. How many homes in America probably own an ice cream scooper? Like almost every single home. Okay. So our ice cream scoop, it actually what happens is here's what you can do. Okay. Take our ice cream scooper, put it next to your customer's ice cream scooper, drop 2 ice cubes in it. Okay. The one in ours will start melting instantly. Right. It's got it's called a zinc alloy heat core, so it melts your ice cream as you're scooping it. Right. So literally, you put it into ice cream. And if your ice cream is super hard or tough, you literally just scoop in, it glides right out, falls right off. You don't need some like funky, button or something like that too that always gets stuck anyways. So it just falls right off into the bowl every single time. You get perfect scoops. So I'm just giving you guys an idea, but products like these, okay, are why it's so easy to sell something on like every single presentation that you do. Now, don't get me wrong, okay? You don't always sell like a huge set on every single presentation. You don't always sell, sometimes you just smell something small, like a veggie peeler or an ice cream scooper or a pair of super shears, right? That's why our average order is only about $350 because you'll get big orders. You'll have, average orders. You'll have small ones like this too, guys. But, it's easy to sell at least something on pretty much every single presentation you do when you have products like these. Now, we show them the super shears and the veggie peeler to kind of kickstart it, but does anyone have an idea why we want to do that? We want to get the what factor? The wow factor, exactly, too. We want to get that initial wow. So next to like the super shears and veggie peeler, I'd put your notes. I'll put down wow. Okay. So you want to get that initial wow factor, right? And we do that to the company page. Cool. Questions on page 2. Awesome. You guys are flying through this thing. Let's flip over to the next page. Okay. So after we've established credibility now, we get a little bit of background on the company. We've got a relationship with the customer, okay? Before we can offer customers a solution, what do we need to have first, everybody? Problem, okay? And, so the objective and the third step to a sale, okay, what you can write down at the top of page 3 is to create a problem. Okay. So, guys, Cutco could be the best knives in the world, which they are. But if a customer doesn't really need it, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? If they're like, hey, these are awesome, these are amazing, but my knives are fine. It doesn't really matter what you have to show them how good it is. If they don't need it, then they're not going to need a solution, right? They don't have a problem, they don't need a solution. So the third step to a sale is to create a problem. We do this for the disadvantages page, okay? Let me go ahead and have, who was the last one? Anthony, you were leading last, so you want to take top of page 3?
All right, disadvantages of common knives. Ms. Jones, most people have the world's most expensive set of knives. The average knife set is designed to last 2 years, so most households waste a ton of money replacing cheap knives over and over. Let me show you this on paper. You probably know this better than I do. Cheap knives have a lot of problems. They also cost a lot of money over time. Average junk knife is $10. Average of 8 knives in a set is $80 per set. Replaced every 2 years for 40 years is 20 replacements, which is $1,600 on junk knives. They are unsanitary, unsafe, and unenjoyable.
Cool. So that's some quick math, guys. And what you'll realize is that, like, it's funny. It's funny when you think about it. Okay, you'll realize that go home, and do some quick math, right? Like, if you buy a knife from Publix, how much is it gonna cost?
$10.
Yeah, like 10, 15, 20 bucks tops, right? Just go home and add up all the knives that you have in your house. Like, count 10, 15, 20 bucks. Count up each and every single one. You'll realize you have probably already spent $1,000 on knives just on the ones sitting in your house, not including all the other knives that your parent probably owned when you were like just being born as a kid, and all the knives that your parents would probably buy 5, 10, 15 years down the road, as well if they never owned Cutco too, okay? So it's not really a question of how much they're going to spend, just a question of what? How they're going to spend that money, over the course of 30, 40, 50 years, right? Now, let me just go ahead and give you guys an easier statistic to write down. I think that's just a little bit more it's better if you can actually get like a site or source or something like that too, rather than just random numbers. So what I would go ahead and do is after it says they also cost a lot of money over time, go ahead and cross out all those numbers where it says average junk knife equals $10, average of 8 knives equals $8 per set. Cross all that stuff out, okay? But leave that last line where it says they're unsanitary, unsafe, unenjoyable. So leave the very last sentence, but cross out all those numbers. And here's what you want to write instead of that, okay? So Consumer Reports did a study, and they said the average household family spends $5,000 on knives in their lifetime. Okay, so you can say Consumer Reports study. Consumer Reports study, average family spends $5,000 in their lives, okay, just on knives. Consumer Reports study, average family, $5,000 in knives in their lifetime. Now, guys, this is average. This is not like really nice high-end stuff. This is like junk, what most people have, right? And just, okay, again, just over years and years and years of buying more and more stuff, you know, it doesn't happen. It just happens by, like, you know, every time you go to Publix every 4 to 6 months, you know, you have an extra little knife here, you know, extra little one there, and all that stuff adds up a lot over time. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. Let's go ahead and keep reading if you want to keep reading on to. There are 2 types of handles.
There are 2 types of handles. Wood handles are attractive when new, but they are extremely unsanitary. Gross face. They absorb liquids, bacteria, grease, and germs, and retain odors. In several states, restaurants don't use wooden handles because of sanitation concerns. Plastic handles are usually cheaply constructed, so they melt, chip, crack, and break. They're slippery when wet, which is extremely dangerous while you're cutting. Concern face, unsafe.
All right, cool. There you go. Read all those ones too. You got it. So, all right, let me walk you guys through this a little bit. Wooden handles, right? So they look good when they're new. They're usually wooden handles are more expensive usually. So that's actually the nicer knives usually have wooden handles more so than the plastic, right? However, wooden handles are absolutely disgusting. Okay. Other than right now, you will never see me put my hands on a wooden handle, right? It's kind of, think about it this way. A wooden handle is kind of like works like, you guys know when you have like a sponge and you squeeze that like gross mucky stuff into the sink at the end when you're done cleaning all your dishes, right? Okay, that's the same way a wooden handle works, except you never squeeze any of it out. It just stays in there, okay? And then you put it in the dishwasher and then it absorbs more of that, and you keep doing that over and over and over again for like a couple of years with the same knives, right? Wooden handles, there's been studies, there's more bacteria on average on a wooden handled knife than there is in the average toilet seat, okay? To give you guys a perspective, and that's what people are cutting up their food with. So it's pretty gross, right? If you just look at the centers of these, okay, like what color is that around the rings?
Green.
It's like a green-blue, okay? Do you guys think that is like a normal thing to be on wood? It's just green and blue. No, okay? You probably should not be blue, right? By the way, on multiple times, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this. I've been in customers' houses where more than once, okay, actually 2 different times, their knife was like falling apart, so we kind of just cracked it open, and there were live maggots or like whatever creatures on the inside of the knives. Okay, I can't make this up. It was disgusting. So, all right, wooden handles, they're outlawed and illegal in Florida and restaurants. Some restaurants still have them, by the way, if you notice, but they're not posted and they're actually outlawed and illegal for sanitation concerns. That's wooden handles. Okay. Next is plastic handles. Plastic handles are just cheap. They're just, you know, the cheapest materials for companies to use, but they break, fall apart. They're usually not good knives, and they have plastic handles. They melt, crack, chip, crack, and break, and they fall apart in the dishwasher. Okay, so it says wooden handles and plastic handles. Questions on that? Okay, and where it says gross face, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and draw like a smiley face next to it, but make it like a blah, like a pukey kind of face, right? Draw that in next to it. I'm gonna explain what I mean here in a second. So take a second to go ahead and draw that in. Okay. Whatever. What weird face. Okay. So there's something called, has anyone ever heard of that, especially if you're like in marketing or psychology majors, it's called a 55-38-7 rule of communication. Has anyone ever heard of that? Okay. So 55% of communication is body language, meaning it is your nonverbals, right? It's your facial expressions. It's your hand motions. It's your movements, right? Like I can say like, the nachos are really good. I can also say, yeah, the nachos are really good. You know, I say the same thing both times, but what like both mean completely different things, right? So, and that's what you're at least picking up on. So 55% of communication is body language. 38%, okay, is your vocals. So it's your tonality. It's not what you say. It's how you say it, right? Actions speak louder than words. Cool. You guys all understand this stuff. And then only 7% is the actual words. Okay. Only 7% is the actual words that you're saying. That's why we have the words right here for you so that you don't have to focus on like your energy on to think about the words. They're already there for you, and you can focus your energy into like the other 93% of communication that matters a lot more, which is, you know, your facial expressions, your body language, and your voice and tonality, right? So when it says gross face, right, I'm gonna give you guys an example. So I'm like, all right, awesome, Michelle. Now there are two types of handles, okay? Wooden handles are attractive when they're new, but they're extremely unsanitary. They absorb liquids, moisture, bacteria, germs, and they retain odors. Actually, in several states, like they're illegal in restaurants just because of sanitation concerns. Okay. Now, there's something called the concept of mirroring. Basically, what that means is that like when you do one thing, like you make one face, like the customer also makes it. So like to give you guys an example, like yeah, I just looked around the room, right? And none of you guys probably even realized it. I just went around like this and looked at all of you guys, and all of you guys were like, I'll make the exact same face looking back at me. So it's the same thing though, but that's what you guys want to do with customers. Like people speak through body language. It's not just through the words that you're saying. Okay. Cool. Any questions on that? All right, let's keep reading to common knives are constructed. All right, you can keep reading.
Oh. Common knives are constructed very poorly. Most knives have a partial tang with less steel, making them weak and unbalanced, so they break easily. Most rivets are made of brass, which expands, contracts, and loosens, creating unsanitary gaps.
Cool. So tang is how far back the steel goes into the handle of the blade, right? So most knives, so see how the steel goes all the way back? Most knives have a partial tang construction, which means the steel only goes back about like halfway into the blade, right? So like this one probably goes like right here. That's why you can see it breaking there. Companies do this to save what? Money, yeah. What's probably the most expensive part of the knife? Steel, the metal. So when they save, they basically save like half the knife or half the money that it costs to make the knife. So, but the thing is, when you do this, you lose all the balance and support that's in the knife because number one, the knife's not that sharp first off. So I'm pushing down on something, right? It's not really doing that good job of cutting. So it's pushing back up on the food's pushing back up on it while I push the handle down. When that happens, what wants to happen? Yeah, it wants to break like literally right here where it's glued in. Okay, and that's, you guys have probably felt that too before when you're cutting something really hard where you feel like it's about to snap while you're pushing down it. You're like, okay, I gotta stop or it's gonna snap in my hand. So what you want is you want a full tang. The steel goes all the way back to the handle of the blade. When you do this, it makes it a lot more expensive, but it's worth it because you actually get the strength and balance and support. So like if you take a physics class, what's happening is now it's like imagine the whole thing is steel and I'm just grabbing the steel without a handle. I'm pushing down. The knife student is actually doing the work of the for you, right? So it's actually pushing down as you're going through. It's equivalent if I was doing this. It's a lot stronger than doing this with a handle where it wants to push and break, okay? Makes it more expensive, but it's worth it. So you want to imagine like the handle going around the steel, right? Versus like having a handle and putting a steel into a handle. Does that make sense? Like it makes one's gonna be a lot more stronger, right? Now, how you tell? Most knives will not. Most knives you'll be able to see if it has a full tang construction. Okay, you'll be able to see the steel all the way around the sides of it. If it doesn't show you, then it probably definitely does not. Okay. Now, here's also what you need to keep in mind is that some companies, like I'm pretty sure this one's fake. Okay, what means they'll put steel around the outside edges of it, right? Just to give it like an illusion that it has a full tang, but it's really not. And you can tell that because there's like literally a hole right through the middle of it, right? And that brings me to the next point, okay, which is rivets. So rivets are like the metal pieces that like lock in the knife. So it's almost like imagine you staple it in and it locks the blade into place, okay? So most companies don't even use real rivets, as in they're literally plastic and they'll put like metal pieces on the outside to make like they're just fake. They're not even, I mean, I can show you like 20 different ones in here that, okay, like this is plastic. But the outside of it looks metal, right? And they'll put fake metal rivets there to make it give the illusion that it's like, stapled in and locked in. And then the companies that do use them, most of them are using brass rivets, which like this. And they loosen, expand, contract, so they get all that gross, gunky stuff stuck on the insides of it. And that's what you also want to avoid too. So that's just kind of construction. Let's keep going on to types of steel. You can keep reading, Lindsay.
There are two types of steel. Carbon steel is strong, but it rusts and corrodes, which is unattractive and unsanitary. Stainless steel is good. It's a soft metal, so it won't stay sharp. It's difficult to sharpen. Have some of your knives gone dull over the year, Ms. Jones?
Okay, so carbon steel. Okay, that is this steel. You won't find this very often. Maybe at grandma's house. This is like the same stuff you find in a machete, right? Like very hard, very strong, but it rusts, bits, and corrodes. Doesn't really look nice. Okay, stainless steel is the most common. Stainless steel is an awful metal. Now it looks good. It doesn't rust, pit, or corrode. Will never it doesn't look like you don't have rusting issues. But for the most part, stainless steel can't really be sharpened after it goes dull, and it's a very, very weak and malleable metal, aka like will not hold the knife's edge very much at all. Okay, so you have carbon steel and you have stainless steel. Okay, now we'll kind of go over those a little bit more as we continue on, and then the last one is the edges. You keep reading.
Oh, there are two types of edges. Serrated edges rip and tear your food and cannot be resharpened. Straight edges make a smooth cut, but they have to be sharpened constantly to remain effective. The hard cutting surface dulls a knife, not the food. Both of these edges directly contact the cutting board, dulling them quickly. A dull knife is more dangerous than a sharp one because you have to push hard.
Let me go ahead and edges. So you got serrated, and then you have straight edges. Okay, so this is a there you go, straight edge, straight edge. Okay, straight edges are usually your higher quality knives. They're usually cheaper made. They just stamp these out of a machine, and they have the little jaggedy edges. Cool. The cool thing is when you have little jaggedy edges and you push down really hard and you take a lot of strokes, it will cut up stuff. But it just does a lot of ripping and tearing. These are usually your higher quality knives if they have a straight edge or something that looks like this. However, they have to be sharpened constantly to remain effective. So these ones get dulled down a whole lot faster. Again, like he mentioned, it's not what you're cutting through. It's not the food you're cutting that dulls your knife. It's the cutting board or the cutting surface you're cutting on. And so every time your knife comes in like contact with that cutting board, it knocks down and dulls down your points on your knife. So over time in a serrated edge, the points are what's sharp. These eventually get knocked down to looking something like this, right? And at that point, so now they're rounded off. And now you can't really sharpen it, and it really does not do a good job of it. If you push down really hard, it still will cut some stuff up. But that's kind of how a serrated edge works, right? Questions on the different types of edges or anything that we cover on this page? Okay, here's what you need to know. The objective of this page is to create a problem. So by the time that you're done with this page, your customers don't know that they need Cutco yet, but they should want to take their knives and literally just like take them and walk over to the garbage and like drop them in. Okay, they should be like, this stuff is gross, disgusting, and terrible, wasting me time, money, energy, and just throw them in the kitchen, okay? Or throw them in the trash, rather. So here's what you need to know. If you nail page 3, you will sell something on every presentation that you do, okay? Now, I can't promise you sell a lot, but you will sell something if you nail page 3, if you accomplish the objective, which is, creating a problem. Question?
Do you recommend pointing out some of these characteristics in their own knives?
Yeah, exactly. So what the first thing you do on this page is, before on page 2, it says, like, hey, Ms. Jones, why don't you get out your favorite serrated edge knife, straight edge knife, and a steak knife. So you get out their 3 kind of favorite knives or whatever they have, and then exactly what you're going over. You're going over this stuff with them. Some people will have wooden, some people will have plastic handles, some people have good knives, some people will have awful knives, right? But the whole point is you're creating the problem before you offer them that solution. Questions on that? Alrighty, guys. So let's go ahead and flip over to page 4. So at the third step to the sale is to create a problem. The fourth step to the sale is to offer them a solution. Cool. You guys got it. So I would write that at the top of page 4. I would write down offer. I don't know, my marker's kind of dying here. But offer a solution. Okay.
Wait, quick question. There's a little part at the end.
Yeah, so we'll just skip that for now. But that's if they already own like really nice knives or they already own Cutco or something like that too.
Oh, okay.
Yep. We'll go over that stuff a little bit later. Here's the deal. So now offer solution. What's the solution?
Cutco.
Cutco. Okay. What's the problem though? Let's make sure everyone understands this. Yeah. Well, no. What's the problem? Is their knives, right? But specifically, what do their knives? What kind of problems do they cause them?
Replace.
Yeah. They waste them what? Money. What else?
Health problems.
Yeah. Health. Time. Okay. Time and energy are usually the 2 biggest things. Okay. So when you think about any company, product, or service that's successful, right, in the 21st century, when most people's basic needs are met, what does everyone want more of? Time and what else? Money and energy. Okay. Those are the 3 problems that we're solving. Okay. Those are the 3 things that people are losing by having disadvantaged knives. So that's the idea you want to get across. Is, hey, we're fixing those 3 problems. Like, hey, Ms. Jones, we're saving you time, we're saving you money, energy in the kitchen. You'll enjoy cooking more. Makes it a lot better. So let's talk about Cutco. So on page 4, let me go ahead and walk you all through this. So when you get out Cutco, okay, whenever you show the products, go get out this one. Okay, let me walk you guys through this. So at the bottom of page 5, or bottom of page 3, the last thing it says is, hey, Ms. Jones, now let me go ahead and show you, so Ms. Jones, blah, blah, straight edges. A dull knife is the more dangerous because then a sharp one because you have to push hard. Now, let me show you, Miss Jones, why so many customers choose to invest in Cutco. So you take the knife out of the sheath. Miss Jones, there are 5 features that make Cutco the world's finest set of cutlery. Go ahead and hold that in your hand for a second. How does that feel? All right, cool. Let's rewind for a second, right? What am I doing right there? Preparing to kill her, right? What am I doing right there, guys? Yeah, I'm drawing attention. I'm building up the excitement. I'm building up the energy and value, okay? You guys are selling a high-end, world-class product, right? If you were a Ferrari salesman, would you just be like, swoop up to the blog and like, hey, get in, it's pretty fast, check it out, you know? So the same reason, I'm like, all right, Miss Jones, so this is Cutco. If you want to go ahead and put that over there, like you don't want to like treat it like it's junk. You want to treat it like a high-end product, okay? Now, you might not be as, maybe as exaggerative as I was just there, but you want to be I put out slowly and be like, Miss Jones, I'd polish it up before you hand it over to them, and then you want to make sure that you hand it over with 2 hands, okay? So 2 hands, you don't want to be like, all right, Miss Jones, check it out. Put it in your hand. How does it feel? You want to be like, hey, Miss Jones, go ahead and hold that over your hand. Okay, so you hand it over with 2 hands, and that's important. So that's kind of how we build up a little value. Now, there are 5 features that make Cutco the world's finest set of cutlery, and it is your job to sell each one of those features with as much enthusiasm as you could possibly muster up. So we're going to fly through these real quickly. I want to make sure we're staying on time here, right? So the first feature is our universal wedge lock handle. Okay, so let me explain each one. This handle design was designed by noise. Is that Rob? Is that you? Oh no, all right, whatever. Okay. Our handle was designed by industrial designer Thomas Lamb. Okay. This guy is the same guy that designed the throttles and Porsches and the throttles and the fighter jets. Okay. He spent his whole life studying hands. All right. And in the 1940s, we paid him over $2 million to come up with this design. By the way, that's the equivalent of almost $100 million today. Okay, and that was before our company. Come on in. That was before our company was even founded. They were paid over like $100 million today, basically, to just come up with the handle design. So let me explain how this works. Right? So it locks your thumb and forefinger into place. So you're not doing like this while you're cutting. So most people, when they're cutting, like you cut like this, what happens is for a lot of older people with like arthritis and things like that, when they're cutting, when they're pushing down, you can't really see on my arm, but my whole arm is like tensing and flexing up when I'm doing that. So that's why for a lot of older people, they'll get tired in the kitchen. The way this is designed, it's left, right, okay, so left hand, right hand, big, small, it doesn't matter, and it locks your thumb and your forefinger into place. So you have a lot of like control around it, and then the rest of your hand kind of like just wraps around it lightly. And it just kind of glazes around it too. So it's very, very comfortable. It's safe. It's strong. It's ergonomic in the handle design. And that's the important aspect of it. Cool. It makes it easy for dicing, mincing, and chopping and things like that as well. So that's the first thing is the handle design, right? The second feature is our thermoresin handle material, okay? Everyone say thermoresin. Thermoresin. Okay? Thermoresin is a very high-grade, high-end, and expensive version of, it's kind of like a certain type of plastic resin. I'll explain this a little bit later, okay? Thermoresin is very, very expensive, but it doesn't chip, crack, break. It's dishwasher safe, so it's one of, if not the only handle material in knives that actually is dishwasher safe. So it does not react to high amounts of heat or low amounts of, or really cold areas. And so that's the first thing is thermoresin handle material. It's similar to the same stuff you'd find in a bowling ball or a football helmet, meaning it's like very, very, very strong, okay? Third feature, okay, is our full tang instruction. So tang is what, everybody?
It's how far the blade
how
goes
far back the steel goes into the blade. So we have a full tang goes all the way to the back, what we talked about earlier. Again, this is going to make the knife a little bit more expensive, but it's going to make it worth it because why? Control. Yeah, strength, control, safety, okay? I can push down on it like this. It's not going to like break. And it's actually very, very strong. So that's our tang, okay? Here's the thing you need to know about our rivets. What's up? What'd you say? Okay, cool. Eddie's somewhere. We'll just grab him and have him take care of it. Cool. Are you coming to just stop by and say hi, or are you guys working on some stuff, or what?
That, and I have a what you're gonna do here. And
Awesome. Sounds good. We'll introduce you in a little bit. Sweet. So the 4 features are very, the 3 nickel silver rivets. That's what I was talking about, okay? So nickel silver rivets, okay? let me explain that for a second. So nickel silver is the same type of metal that they use on the outside of NASA rockets and like fighter jets. They do this because it's a type of metal that does not react strongly to very, very intense amounts of heat or very extreme temperatures, right? So we use nickel silver rivets for our rivets because what happens is, number one, it locks the blade into place, so it keeps it into the handle. And so when you put it in the dishwasher over and over again, it gets really, really hot. It doesn't expand, loosen, and contract. Like, for instance, run your hand over this. Tell me if you feel that. Probably feel nothing, right? It's flush with the handle, okay? And guess what, guys? It will stay that way for the entire time they own the knives. They'll never have it moving around or flush. It's going to be locked in that place. And that's also why it holds the blade together really, really well. It will stay strong. Cool. It's expensive, but, obviously, like I said, it's worth it because you get that aspect of it, right? The fourth feature, the last two we'll go over real quickly, guys. Very high grade steel. So here's what you can write down next to the fourth feature, right? We use something called 440A. 440A high carbon stainless steel. 440A high carbon stainless steel. All right, this is a surgical steel. Here's what I would put in front of this step. Put surgical. Okay, so 440A high carbon stainless steel, surgical. Okay. Meaning this is the same stuff they use in an ER or the hospital. So it's the absolute best and top of the line when it comes to quality, the products, right? It talks about it has the best of both worlds. So it's like your high carbon steel, very, very strong for edge retention, right? Holds the edge really well. But like your stainless steel where it always looks nice, it's not going to rust, corrode. Not only that, but we put a satin finish on ours. So that's why ours looks like really shiny. It's almost like a mirror. You can basically see yourself in it too. And that helps the blade always look nice and sparkling for a really long time, okay? Here's the last feature we'll explain, and then we'll do the last page, and we'll take probably a break here in a second, okay? So the last page is last point is the edge, okay? And this is probably the most impressive thing. The fifth features are stay sharp, double D edge. Now, right here, what we're going to do is we take out their old knives, and that's where we cut the rope, okay? So all you guys got a chance to cut some rope and leather earlier. So we cut rope to compare to knives. It's kind of like tough like meats and, as fibrous like vegetables. So we use the customer's knives first, and then we use our knives, right? So what you'll do is let me actually explain how the edge – actually, before I get to the edge, I'll tell you guys a quick story. So I remember my first time cutting rope, and it's with my mom and my dad. And I remember I was telling you guys earlier, like my mom was skeptical and my dad was unsupportive. So I was kind of nervous to do the presentation. And, I remember sitting down with them and started walking through it. And, so I started doing the presentation. And I got like halfway through. And then, I got to the part where I was about to cut the rope, right? So I'm like, all right, Mom, go ahead and we'll start off with your knives. And my dad's like, nope, I want to do it. I'm like, all right, great. And then he takes out his old knives. We have bad knives too. But he goes in the kitchen. He pulls out a sharpening rod. I don't even know where he got this from. I've never seen him use it once in my life. And knives and just starts sharpening for 5 minutes. He's touching these things up. I'm like, oh my gosh, can we get this thing on the road? And he comes in, he goes over, cut the rope, and my dad's like a big dude, so he comes down and he's pushing down as hard as he possibly can, and he pushes down and he takes strokes back and forth. It cut the rope in 3 or 4 strokes. Now, that might not be as impressive as Cutco, but that's pretty impressive for really bad junk knives, okay? And so he pushed down as hard as he could, and I'm like, all right, whatever, here, Dad, now you can, go ahead and use the Cutco knife, right? And he's like, no, I want your mom to do it. And I was like, oh, gosh, here we go. My mom's the opposite. She's this little tiny woman. And I was like, here, this is going to go so bad. And I was like, all right, Mom, push down, really, really hard, really hard. Just push down as hard as you can. And she's like, okay, I got it. And I'm sitting there, I'm sharp from the back, take a full stroke, and I'm sitting there, please don't work, please work. And I remember she goes to take it, and she goes to take a stroke, right? She starts from the back. She goes to take a stroke. Half a stroke, not even, right? Her jaw drops. My dad looks over, what the heck? I'm grabs the knife, and he just starts staring at it. Now my dad's kind of got this, he's not an engineer, but he works with an engineer, so he's just he's just staring at the knife for the next 20 minutes, just looking at it and holding up in the light and stuff like that too. I'm like, all right, whatever, do your thing, dude. And my mom cuts the rope, and I'm like, see, told you. I was like, oh my gosh, thank God. I was so nervous. So we take to the presentation, or whatever. I get to the end of the presentation, I'm like, hey, Mom, so what do you think? Do you want to go on? And then she's like, I don't know. Let me ask your dad. I was like, no, it's a bad idea. Then she's like, Charlie, what do you think? And he's like, oh, I'll tell you what I think. And I'm like, all right, here we go. He's like, yeah, I'll tell you exactly what I think. And I'm like, all right, let's hear it. He's like, yeah, I'll tell you what I think. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me hear it. And he's like, I think that this is one of the best products I've ever seen in my life. Amy, get whatever you want. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, like you should have told me the knives were like this good. I'm like, I literally told you like this literally second when I walked out of the interview. He's like, yeah, but you didn't tell me they were this good. He's like, Amy, get whatever you want. They walked out and I was like, what the heck? It just happened. Anyways, long story short, my parents ended up being like one of our smaller starter sets. I come from like a low income family, but so we got him like a starter set to get started, and I hooked him up with a ton of stuff over the years too. But the point being, the whole story is that when you go to cut that rope, like customers are gonna freak, okay? It's cool. I'm gonna show you guys how to do it right now. So let me go ahead and walk you guys through the types of edges. So here's how the double D edge works. It looks like this, okay? Which on first glance kind of looks like what? Kind of looks like what type of edge? Serrated edge, okay? So, but here's the deal, okay? The points, it looks like a serrated edge, but it's not. The points are actually not sharp. That's why I can touch myself like this, okay? The points don't cut me. The points are just there to protect the edges on the insides. So with each stroke, it's 3 straight edges that are sharpened inside the points. So you cut forwards, backwards, and down. So it gives whatever you're cutting that overall nice, clean cut, okay? So again, the reason your knives go dull is not because what you're cutting through, but because of what? Cutting board, cutting surface you're cutting on. So eventually, over time, these will get knocked down. So it looks something a little more like this, okay? But the cool thing is that, okay, even over time, it does get knocked down. What is still sharp?
Very straight edges.
Yeah, the insides, okay? The insides are still sharp, even though after years and years of using it. So a double D edge will stay just as sharp as the day you purchased it for about 8 to 10 years after its purchase date, okay? Now, eventually, it will get run down to the point where, like, if you're using it enough, it will eventually look like this and either like that, okay? And at that point, when you have basically no edges left, like, you're going to want to get it taken care of. You send it to the factory, they'll sharpen and put a brand new edge on it for you, okay? But Cutco stays sharp for a very, very long time, and that's because of the edge and the steel materials and things like that. Questions on page 4. Okay, now there's one word on page 4 that appears on there quite often. Does anyone have an idea what word that is? Expensive. Okay, expensive. So what I want you guys to take a second to do is go ahead and underline or highlight or whatever you want to do, or circle everywhere it says expensive on your page, or write it big and bold in the space on top page 5. Write down expensive. Okay, expensive. I'm gonna elaborate here in a second. Okay, you want to say that word as much as humanly possible, okay? Now, and you really want to stress that. So I always have some reps always be like, yeah, Andrew, I don't want to scare my customers away by, saying it's so expensive, okay? Guys, I'll let you in on a secret. Sometimes people that have money like to buy nice things, okay? I'll let you in on a bigger secret. Sometimes people without any money like to buy expensive things even more, okay? But here's the deal, okay? Here's what this actually means. It's not about the price, right? It is about a customer's expectation on where they think that price will be, right? So if the price of Cutco is right here, where do we want the customer's expectation of the price to be? Yeah, way up here, right? Think about it this way. Let me walk you guys through an example. You want to buy a pair of shoes. Let's say they're a $300 pair of shoes. They're so nice pair of shoes. You want to go to Nordstrom and get them, right? You see online that they are on sale right now. They're 70, I don't know, let's say they're $50 off, okay? So you go in the store to buy the $300 pair of shoes. They're $50 off. You walk in, and turns out they're $75 off. So you're only paying $225 today. How do you feel?
Great.
Yeah, you feel excited. You're like, oh, heck yeah, I'm getting an even better deal than I thought it was. Bam, okay? Same example, right? Imagine you go to Nordstrom, you're buying a $300 pair of shoes. You see an ad online that says they're $150 off, right? So now they're only, so it's 50% off, so they're $150 off, right? You get to the store, and it turns out they're only $100 off, right? So you're paying $50 more than you thought. How do you feel? Yeah, you're like pretty annoyed. You're like, dude, like it said this online. Like, what the heck is going on? Okay. You all realize in the second example, you're still paying less money for the same pair of shoes, right? You're paying $100 off in the second example, and you're only getting $75 off on the first example. But in the first example, you felt awesome. The second example, you were like pissed. right? Because here's what the reason, right? It doesn't matter what the price is. It's about what the customer's expectation of that price was going to be. Exactly, guys. So you want to make sure you say expensive. You want to stress that. You want to build up the customer's expectation for the price as much as possible in your presentation. Cool. So awesome. Then we've accomplished page 4. You guys are already more than halfway through. Any questions? All right, let's wrap up with these last things. Give me like 5 minutes left, or whatever, and we'll take a quick break. So cool, on page 5, all right, forever guarantee. So this is the reason, by the way, that it is so easy to sell this stuff. This is the reason that we can hire 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, right? And they can go out and sell thousands of dollars of this stuff in their first weekend. It's because of a forever guarantee, right? So there's several parts of forever guarantee, but there's 4 parts specifically, right? So again, it says Cutco, you're one of the only products you can buy once, use every day, and never have to replace. I maybe put a little star there again. Okay. The product is a proof of purchase. You can pass it down from generation to generation. So there's 4 parts of the guarantee. First is forever performance. They break it, damage it, knock the tip off of it, like really literally anything happens to it, can be replaced, send back a brand new one for free, right? Forever sharpness. So if the neck ever goes dull, they've owned it for 8 to 10 years. They can send it to the factory. They'll put in a brand new edge on it, send it back like brand new. Or if they even just want a touch up after a couple of years, they can have someone come out to their house. They'll touch up their knives for free. Unconventional use. So this is rare because you literally have to tell the company that you use it unconventionally. But let's say Mr. Jones, borrows a knife, uses it as a screwdriver out on a sprinkler head, and leaves it in the yard and runs over with a lawnmower, and then has like the back of a handle piece left, right? You can send that back in and still get 50% off with a new knife, okay? The last one is unconditional money back guarantee. But by the way, so everything else for anything you possibly do in the kitchen is covered. Like you drop it halfway down the garbage disposal, it gets all jacked up, you can still get a brand new one for free, okay? Unconditional money back guarantee. So 15 days, specifically 15 business days. So whenever a customer buys something, they can buy it. They can try it out in their house for 3 weeks, so 15 business days. They can cook with it every single day. They can throw a barbecue. They can throw a graduation party. They can put it in the dishwasher. If at any time in those 3 weeks they're like, you know what, I don't like this, or it wasn't worth the money, or whatnot, they can send it right back and get a full refund, right? So customers can also divide their payments up into how many payments? Okay, five specifically. Okay, so 5 payments, right? So, most of our customers, guys, they can place a 1/5 deposit on a set, get in their kitchen, try it out for a couple weeks. If they don't like it, they get refunded that 1/5 deposit instantly. Okay, if they like it and keep it, which is what pretty much everyone does, then they can either pay for it in full or keep paying monthly for it, whatever works better for them. Okay, now 2 questions that y'all probably have. Number 1, by the way, just if a customer pays on the 5 pay, by the way, those are just budgeting options for the family. It doesn't affect your commission. You make the same flat rate no matter what off the total sale. So however they decide to split it up or pay for it does not affect you at all, which is cool because a lot of sales companies, if they do that, you get like a back end check and like a front end. Like, no, you just get 100% of it up front here. Second thing, okay, if a customer cancels or returns their order, no, you do not still make the money off that order. So you can't have like your uncle place like $20,000 on this credit card and cancel the next day, okay, and get paid off it, right? Now, here's the deal. That would suck if someone canceled or returned something, but you will sell a whole lot more just because they have you're giving them the option, right? The amount of deals that I've closed and they're just like, I'm not really sure. I'm like, all right, you just want to try it out? I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. Happens all the time. So here's the other thing too is I have almost never heard of anyone in my career, minus like 1 or 2 examples ever, the whole time I've ever worked here, of someone returning their stuff that they've gotten. Literally, it is so rare. Pretty much no one tries out Cutco, uses it, and it's like, yeah, this stuff is bad. I don't like it. Okay. Now, sometimes you do get order cancellations, meaning like they cancel it before the knives even get to their house, and that usually happens within 24 hours after your appointment, and it usually has nothing to do with Cutco. Meaning like you went over there, did the presentation, sold something, and you left, and like their house like roof broke down, or like something happened, or someone went to the hospital, and like they're really tight on money now, and they just start like canceling every credit card expense they bought like last week and stuff like that too. So that again, that sometimes happens, but you don't really have to worry about that too much. But it makes your customers feel a lot more confident. You'll sell a lot more just by giving them the option, having the money back guarantee. Cool. Questions on that? All right. That is a guarantee. Flip over to pages 6 and 7. We'll do this and get a break. Okay. So after that, you talk about a guarantee. The next thing we want to do is we just talk about what tools come in their set. Okay. Now, we sell sets. Okay, guys. So think about it this way. You're not like an individual knife salesman. You are a set salesman. You get something wrong?
You are?
Oh, no, I'm good. You're a set salesman. Like, let me put it this way. Everyone in the world, like you pretty much buy everything in sets. I mean, think about it like if you go to the mall, you don't buy a shoe, you buy a pair of shoes, right? If you go to the mall and buy a shirt, you probably don't buy just a shirt, you probably buy like an outfit. If you wanted to start playing golf, you wouldn't buy a golf club, you'd buy what? Yeah, a set of golf clubs, right? If you wanted to, just move into a new house and you want to get some tools, you wouldn't buy like a screwdriver, you'd buy what? Set of screwdrivers or a toolbox, right? Okay. Now, guess what? What does every golf club do, guys?
It's balls.
Yeah, they all do the exact same thing. They just hit balls in the hole, okay? But it's important to have the right tool for the right job, right? I think everyone understands that. Same thing with tools, right? You have a screwdriver. Like literally every screwdriver is the exact same thing. They just unscrew like a little piece of metal out of a piece of wood or whatnot, right? But it's important to have right different sizes, and then you have some that are flatheads and that are Phillips, right? They'll all kind of work technically if you like use them and leverage them the right way. Sometimes you can get away with it, but then you might strip the screw or you might have trouble getting it out, okay? It's the same thing with knives, right? They all do the exact same thing. All of them just cut stuff up. They don't do anything else differently, right? But it's important to have the right tool for the right job just to have safety and efficiency. If you want to have a giant machete or butcher knife in your kitchen to cut up everything, you probably could, but you also might be losing some fingers. But if you have like a little tiny paring knife to cut everything, like you won't be able to cut up anything that's big. So long story short, it's important to have the right tool for the right job. We have a bunch of set options, but this is the most popular set. So this is like the basic set for most people. So it just has 100% of the tools you need to do, like to do most of the jobs in the kitchen, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and walk you guys through each of these ones. Let me do this. I'll walk you guys through by showing you the virtual presentation. Okay, so I asked earlier, who in here is doing mostly virtuals? There's a couple people, okay? Even if you're not doing mostly virtuals, you can still do virtuals. Like, for instance, like Juan Armillo, he graduated, or he's going into senior year next year at Gulliver. And he sold $12,000 his first week on the job. Like 8,000 of that was from virtual appointments, and the other ones. But he still does mostly in person. But so if you got a lot of family and friends, like our assistant manager last year, Gabe Torres, like almost all his appointments and all his recommendations are from people in Ecuador. So like his whole customer base was like customers in Ecuador and stuff like that too, because he's got a bunch of family and friends down there, and they just grew out, expanded from there. So I will go ahead and walk you guys through the website. I'll pull this up, and we'll just walk through each kind of tool. Now, I'll show you guys a video of it, but in general, okay, let me pull this up. Okay, I'll just give you guys like one word or one phrase that helps you remember each knife, because I remember when I was going through like it was kind of confusing for me to keep track of all of it. So just give you guys like one word or phrase, and we'll do it that way. Cool. So let me go ahead and pull this guy up. Cool. So when you go to the website, it usually takes a good bit of time to load. That's actually a good thing, because what do you want to do while it's loading? Yeah, get to know the customer, you build rapport. Cool. So let's do this. Let's do a quick mini review as we go through this, right? Let me see if I can do this real quick. Cool. So we use Prezi, if any of you guys know what that is. Okay. So what you'll do is you build rapport. So let's go ahead and let's review the steps to a sale. Okay, guys? What steps to a sale, everyone? Say everyone. Time into our goals. What are things we can ask the customers about? Kids, families, themselves. Cool, awesome. Why is it important to tie our customers into our goals?
Because they want to help.
Yep, they want to help you out. They're excited about it, right? Then the next step to a sale is to establish what, everyone? Credibility, okay? We do that to the company page. So we've been in business since what year? 1949, right? All of our knives are handmade in a factory in what city in New York? Olean, New York. We sell how much every single year? 250 million. We have over how many customers? 18 million customers, okay? We also a proud producer of what military knives? K-Bar, okay? What are some TV shows we've been on? Rachel, right? Okay, cool, awesome. And what are some charities that we work with?
Make-A-Wish.
Cool, awesome. Cutco is one of the only products that you can buy once, use every day, and never have to replace. Cool, awesome. There you guys go. Then we show two products. We want to get that what factor? Wow factor. Cool. And it's like they really build all of it into. I'll show you guys a veggie peeler too. So I'll show you guys that. So you guys get what I'm saying, by the way, when I say it takes ultra thin slices. This is like a papaya, I guess. Yeah, exactly. Cool. All right, you guys are gonna get hungry after this. I'm just forewarning you. Okay. All right. Then you have the next step to a sale is to create a what, everybody? problem. Okay, I'm not gonna go through all that too, just to save some time. Talk about Cutco. How many features are there to Cutco?
4.
5. Okay, and then we show the last feature, and it shows the rope cutting on video. When you cut the rope, it's to use the biggest knife in the set. I'll kind of go ahead and shows like example customized knives. We talk about the difference between our edges. Talk about for that the forever guarantee. There's literally built-in customer testimonials on here for you. We're gonna skip that. Let me just go ahead and walk you guys through the pieces in the set. Okay, so the first 2 pieces. So the first tool in your set is the paring knife. Okay, so this is just like any other paring knife. It cuts small fruits and vegetables in the air, right? So for this one, you wouldn't use it on a cutting board. So think about like small fruits, kiwis, bananas, strawberries. Taking the eyes out of potatoes, things like that. Ours has a longer handle, so it makes it a lot more comfortable and easy to use over time. Most paring knives is like a short, stubby handle. It digs into your palm. It's uncomfortable and hard to use, right? So here's what you want to know for the paring knife. Everyone say air knife. Air knife. Okay, so a paring knife is for the air. Okay, the next tool in the set is the trimmer. So you would never use the paring knife like on a cutting board. That's why you have the trimmer, okay? And this is like your small kitchen utility tool. So the one that will come in your sample kit will have a white or a pearl handle. So this one you would use on like small fruits and vegetables. So like if you ever cut up a tomato, by the way, this is not like usually how it works. Usually it kind of crushes while you're cutting it up. Yeah, I'll have like the customers compete to see how like thin of a slicing cut with like Mr. and Mrs. Jones. Taking the fat off meats, small fruits and vegetables like strawberries, kiwis, things like that. Okay, lemons, limes for your Corona. I don't know, whatever. Okay. So yeah, that owns your trimmer. Okay. So we everyone say trimmer is for the small stuff. Say small stuff. Small stuff. So paring knives for the what? Air. Trimmers for the what? Small stuff. Okay. The next tool in your set is a spatula spreader. Now this is your spatula. You wouldn't use either one of the paring knife or the trimmer to like spread stuff. So that's why you have the spatula spreader. So the spatula spreader is great for like, you can bagels and cream cheese. Okay. But what happens is it's got the double D edge on one side of it. So it cuts just as sharp as the knives on one side of it. Right. So think about like brownies, lasagna, casserole. You can cut, scoop, and serve with one tool. You can think about if you make guacamole, it's great first. So you pop into an avocado, go right around the edges, pop the pit out, scoop the meat right out of the skin. It's pretty easy to do there. Okay, making a ton of sandwiches for the kids before like a game. It's like the sandwich making machine. You just could grab whatever you want, put on the bread, and then watch this too. It doesn't like squish your bread as you cut through it. See how it doesn't even get squished? Yeah. Cool. And that is your spatula spreader. Okay. So you guys can see now it's for more than just sandwiches, but that's just the word we'll use to help you guys remember. Okay. So everyone say for sandwiches. Sandwiches. Cool. You got your paring knife for the what? Air. Trimmer for the what? Small stuff. Spatula for your sandwiches. Cool. The next knife is your meat knife. Everyone say meat knife. Meat knife. Okay. Now, if you don't eat meat, there's a lot more that you can show with it. Okay. But this is your petite carver. So this is like the one you use to cut up the rope. It's also the same one you use to like cut up pineapple or something. By the way, if you ever cut up pineapple, yeah, that's not how it usually goes about. All right, that's through the core, by the way. Like it's butter. Cantaloupe, squash, pumpkin. Okay, you guys have probably never even seen someone cut a pumpkin like that, or take slices of a pumpkin. And then the sets come with 2 forks. So one's for like holding meats down, one's for grabbing like all those pickles, cherries out of the jar, turning things in the pan, French toast, bacon, things like that. It's got sharp tine edges. I'll show you guys that a little bit later. Next tool in your set. Okay, so the petite carver is your what knife? Meat knife. Okay, then you also have this is your serving piece. Okay, is your turning fork. Everyone say serving piece. Serving piece. Okay, then you have the butcher knife. Butcher knife is for the hard stuff. So everyone say hard stuff. Okay, so this is like your heavy duty knife. It's a money saver and protector in the set. So it'll protect you and your other knives for when you do cut things, right? So papaya, pineapple, watermelon, anything that's got a hard outside edge, frozen meats, hamburger buns. Okay. Yeah. You just can take nice slices with it. You play fruit ninja. You play fruit ninja if you want. Okay. So that is your butcher knife, and that is for the what stuff? Hard stuff. Cool. The next one you have is your veggie chopper, okay, or your petite chefs. Everyone say veggie what?
Veggie chopper.
Veggie chopper. Cool. So this one you want to use for like dicing, mincing, chopping small fruits and vegetables like onions, tomatoes, celery. Okay. It is so sharp it won't make you cry. No, I'm actually not joking. Like, it literally won't make you cry. So the reason why you cry when you're cutting onions, by the way, is because what's happening is all the juices, you're actually like crushing it as you cut it. All the juices and the fumes are spraying up into your eyes. When you cut it with the Cutco Petite Chef knife, it actually is like cutting it with a razor sharp edge. So it's not like the fumes are not going into your eye. We literally had a guy last year that would like purposely cut onions next to his face to show a cut. Don't do that, but you guys get the idea, okay? So so that's your Petite Chef, okay? And this one is your veggie what? Veggie chopper, okay? Then the last two tools, okay, you have your slicer. This is like the Miami favorite. This is the bread knife, okay? Everyone say bread knife.
Bread knife.
All right, and so you can use this for, I mean, if you ever had like warm bread out of the oven, it glides right through it without crushing it. You can take like slices of bread, Cuban bread, work great on cakes too, even angel food cake, ice cream cake, things like that, right? Cool, awesome, and that is the slicer. Yeah, you get perfect thin slices every time, right? So that's your bread knife. Last two tools you have are your holiday tools. So this is like meat and carving tools. So with the set, you kind of you'll have some tools you use every day. Some you'll use like once or twice a week. And then a couple of them you only use like once a month. Like butcher knife, you probably use once a month. These two tools you probably use a couple times a month, okay? Unless they're eating meat like a lot. So anytime, think steaks, chickens, turkeys, roasts, that's when you'd use this stuff for. So a lot during the holidays. Yeah, exactly. And that's your carving tool. So you can call these just your holiday and meat tools. Okay. So everyone say holiday meat tools.
Holiday meat tools.
Cool. And then you have your last one, which is your table knife, and you use that every single day. Cool. Let's do a quick review. Ready? Paring knife is for the what? Here, trimmers for this small stuff. Spatulas for your sandwiches. This is your meat knife. This is your serving piece. Okay. Butchers for the what? Hard stuff. It's your veggie chopper, right? This is your bread knife. You have your holiday meat tools, and then you use this one how often? Every day. Cool. There you guys go. That is pretty much, you guys know all the tools, and we're like 80% through the presentation. And we'll have for the day. Cool. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's take a break. If you need to get food, water, whatever, drinks real quickly. We'll get started again in like another 5-10 minutes. I like to take short breaks all in between. That way we can get you guys out of here earlier, if not, before on time, versus like longer breaks, but holding you guys over. Cool. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll get started when we come back.